Is the short form content agency space saturated? Yes, it has. Would I suggest that you start a short form content agency today? Probably not. Why? Because it's super commoditized. Okay. Now, one of the things that I couldn't get my head around was the fact that I, as someone who's running a multiple 7-figure company, multiple 6-figure revenue per month, who's urgently building infrastructures to just keep producing more content, how is it that I want the service that these agencies have to offer, but they're still struggling to scale? Like, it didn't add up, right? And I ended up realizing that the issue isn't that short form content or content agencies aren't in demand. Actually, they are. The scales are in demand, like super in demand. But the issue is the way that these agencies are positioning their offers. Okay. And a few days ago, one of my clients who spent multiple over 5 figures to work with us asked me a question like, hey Serge, if you were to sell a creative infrastructure, how would you sell it? And while creating the offer that I would sell to myself, I ended up coming up with an offer that I was amazed by. Amazed in the sense that I would be actually willing to spend 10, 15 grand and more to have the offer that I came up with. It solved the same issues, which is content and distribution and volume, but I'm more willing to spend 15 grand on that offer before I spend at $500 to $1,000 to 2 grand on an agency or an editing firm or even an editor. Okay, so if you're wanting to figure out how to get out of competition, how to stop being a commodity, how to stop struggling, then this video is going to change everything for you. If you find it helpful, click the link below, subscribe, or just comment. I'd love to get your feedback. Okay, and yeah, find it helpful. Bye-bye.
Yeah, just a quick question following up on your conversation. Building release for content, right? Specifically, if the folks that you selling it to or you releasing it into are really busy, right? So you could say, we're going to set up the content team for you and all that. But if you release it and I'm gone, then
Yeah.
basically I have to manage something that you potentially need to review the content that's edited. They need to approve and all that, which is time on their end, which is defeats the purpose, kinda. So any thoughts either from you or anybody around how to counter that?
I think that's a great model. And everyone who's kind of like going into the content, I think Steve just closed a 9K deal for 90 shorts. So that's good. Imagine how much profit on a literally 90 shorts. I can go on AI and just give me like a 1 hour video and I can pump out 90 reels, right? Imagine the margins on that type of business. I think that's actually crazy offer. You know how everybody here is trying to sell like content, short form content? Build and release short form content departments in companies. Check this out. I'll do this. I'll record this. And this is actually a fucking insane offer. Jirov, you better pay me after this call, okay? Just let me know because this is going to be good. Okay, check this out. Okay, so guys, I've been looking and just pure honestly, right now, I'm trying to start spending 10 grand to 15 grand to 20 grand a month on content. Okay. Content is inevitably the one thing that is, so let me show you guys how to sell it. Ads is great. You spend money today, you get leads, boom. You stop spending money. Guess what? The well dries up instantly, right? Now, you go to people who are like, even solar. I mean, like, guys, this thing could work in any niche. It doesn't matter what you do. So you go to people who are usually spending a lot of money on acquisition, a lot of money on outreach, and you're like, hey, did you know that with content, you can literally 3x the amount of money collected from your prospects, and you can cut down the sales cycle by 2 in half? And then they'll be like, okay, how do I do it? Well, you need an army of content going crazy on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube shorts, right? Now, what will you need to do that? You will need the following. So the thing you guys need to sell is the thesis around compounding. For those who don't know, compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. It doesn't matter how many people you sell today. If you cannot keep getting paid on the effort, you're probably gonna die before you get wealthy. So you need to get paid while you're asleep. The same way your acquisition infrastructure needs a certain level of needs to be compounding. Ads do not compound, right? Content does, right? So what you guys are going to do is you guys are going to tell this person, well, here are the things that you need. You're going to need a creative director, right? You're going to need editors, one editor for shorts. Jirov, do you think it's required to have an editor for long form to separate them?
Yo, so yeah, definitely when it comes to like volume, I'd even recommend like a pod of maybe 2 shorts if you're trying to go crazy with the shorts, and then 1 long form.
Perfect. So, so one for shorts, and then one for who? Long form. Now, here is what I would do if I was doing build and release for content departments. And there's also ideas and viral topics. Topics and structure of content, right? This person solves for these, and these 2 editors solve for what? For distribution. Okay. So, and you may need maybe one of these, you may need a third person. Actually, just like a VA, like a social manager, social media manager. Okay. And then maybe they take care of distribution. So I'm going to show you guys real quick because this could be interesting of an offer. And this is just the actual creating and just the looks of it, right? Now, as a build and release offer, I think you could sell this for like easy 10K, right? And the beautiful thing you need to do, the only cost to delivering on this is just having hiring systems. Hiring systems, vetting, workflow, right? And quality assurance, creative director stuff, creative director role. Now, in my opinion, everything here, you build and release. This here, you keep it in-house. Why? Because then it becomes a retention play. Okay? So let me show you. Hiring systems, it will look something like this. I'm going to show you guys Airtable, how we do it. So for us right now, we get probably, we've built a pretty insane base of hiring VAs, right? So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Where is it? No, never mind. This is for the not VA management base. Okay, so let me show you guys real quick. So we have this system that keeps going on in the background every single day, right? It just keeps running. We keep hiring people every day. Like it just keeps running in the background, right? And then Reg has also started like a TikTok channel. She gets like thousands of views. She literally does webinars, and she'll get like 1,000 VAs, kind of like wanting to join, right? So you guys could literally build your own little system for hiring VAs. Okay, so like like this day we got. Let's look at this. Like we got from 3,600 to 46. So we got 46 applicants in one day. Well, you build a system like this, okay? And then someone takes care of vetting the VAs. And then maybe if they're qualified, you get them to go through content, you educate them, and then you get graduated VAs to just kind of like be ready to be placed on the next build and release pool of clients, right? So a simple system like this, an application funnel, maybe a course or a content, you can get like the creative director or someone like Jirov to kind of like build a SOP of how the editors should work. Most of the editors should come with experience, right? And I'm sure we don't have a lack of editors in the industry, in the marketplace right now. And then, so hiring system, hiring funnel, the same way we do acquisition, literally like that process VSL. You sell them on the opportunity. And then this is where the vetting process. So just like I just showed you, you just look through every application. And then those who are qualified, you send them through a piece of content or you send them through the education before. And then the creative director role, essentially just when the client gets onboarded, you set up the strategy, like the ideation, the process, it needs to be the same. So you need to go after a niche and only sell to that niche. So if you're going after coaches, then go after coaches and just have a specific structure of content that need to be created and delivered, and it needs to be similar. It cannot be different. You got to have the same process, the same content, the same distribution channel, the same everything, right? So that every client who goes through it, it's just like a plug and play. And then you can just have someone like a Reg, an operations specialist, who's going through the vetting workflow and then placing them in the businesses. And then you just have a way to collect your clients' content, or you place them in-house. And then client just uploads the content. The VA takes care of the editing and the distribution. And then you guys sell for like 9K or 10K this thing over 90 days. And then your creative director every week just goes in and reviews every client's content roadmap, or every single month, your creative director just creates a new schedule for content, right? So essentially, you're finding talent, you're training the talent. The reason why for us, we can build 100K a month business off of placing VAs is because it's not necessarily that you can't go find a VA for $60 on online jobs at PH. It's the fact that our VAs come with they come with insights, they come with SOPs, they come with structure, and that's the money. Because if we just gave you guys, if you just go on online jobs at PH and you just hire an editor, then you have to give them the structure, you have to give them the content, you have to figure out a way to keep them accountable. You take that time, you take it in-house, you systematize it, you do it at scale, then you increase the premium price. So now the same thing that online jobs that PH sells for $69 a month, client acquisition.io has been able to charge $5,000. Do you guys understand it? It's me giving you guys time that people pay for. The same way for content. That's why I'm saying, like, if you guys, the amount of money I've spent, guys, on trying to find the best team for content, I'm fucking over it. So if you could have told me, like, hey, for 9K, I can build you this thing, which Jirov tried to charge me before, but I said, nah, fuck that, it's too expensive. But like today, looking back, I would have gladly paid it. But you know why I didn't go with Jirov? Because, or anybody else who's trying to sell me this build and release for content, is they're like, oh, it will take like a month, it will take like 2 months. I'm like, no, I don't fucking want a month, man. I pay you today, give me editors by next week. Give me the content roadmap, give me the system to track the content, okay? That's $8,000 worth of value. That's 10 grand worth of value. That's 15 grand worth of value. I promise you guys this. Hormozi's spending 80 grand, like over 100 grand a month on content. Do you guys see what his brand has become? Insane. He went from spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads to just focusing on content. And now he's blown up a brand bigger than ads have ever done it for him. And that's the pitch. You guys want to make money in the content world? Sell content infrastructures. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
So my question is not around that. So that's super clear, no brainer, no question there. It's more so around the release, not the release, sorry, the management side, right? So the value prop to those folks, you say, hey, you're busy, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it for you. But if I say, okay, I release it to you, they'd be like, man, I have to manage, I have to review, I have to approve. And that basically not kills it, but diminishes the value versus if I take everything on, all I say, hey, show up, and I shoot everything for you, it's good for them. But for me, it's not good because imagine how can I do that for like a lot of clients? So
So
just
why?
wanted to get, yeah, go ahead.
So okay, so your question is, do you do done with you or do you do done for you, essentially, right?
Mm, well, that's the simplest way to say it, but it was more so, are there any other options for the releasing part of the content side of things
No,
that
there
would
isn't.
solve? Yeah.
No, there isn't. There is pros and cons. You can't try to keep
Mm-hmm.
the done for you value in a done with you. So it's like just as much as you know having there is GCP and then there is the hundreds. Like there is a cost where it's like I'd love everyone to be in the hundreds, but I can't have everyone in the hundreds because if then it becomes the hundreds, then everyone is going to want my time. Then I can't actually build a successful company, a scalable company, right? Now, I make more money per client in the hundreds than I do in GCP, but I would still prefer GCP model than the hundreds because the goal is to build a business, not to build everything relying on me. Now, so it's like no, the thing you're asking for is like no, there is no way. Because if you take on all the workload, then you're going to need to charge insane amounts of money. Now, not everyone is going to be able to pay you 5-10 grand a month on content, even if you're taking care of all the pain that comes with content. I mean, it's just that not as many people who are willing to pay a defined end program, build and release, there won't be as many that would buy that as the ones who will be willing to pay you 5-10K a month on content.
Here's the more specific question for you because what you're saying makes total sense in terms of how hectic it would be to manage 20, I mean, potentially, right? 20, what do you call them, creative directors, because you have so many teams and all that. I mean, it is possible. I mean, the big agencies and consulting firms do that.
Yeah.
But how sexy is it from an operation management standpoint? You would have to turn into corporations, right? Have layers on layers on layers,
Yeah.
unless there's something that I'm not seeing.
In my opinion, you don't need that big of a team to do this. I mean, Jirov, how many pieces of content can your creative director review? Like how many creative directors do you have in your content agency?
So right now, each creative director can manage like 5 editors at least.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
how many clients can 5 editors work on?
So what we want to do is make sure that each client has one editor for them, but realistically they can handle at least two to three.
Perfect. So let's do the math. Okay. Follow me here, Iris. So
Yep.
Jirov just said 5 editors. Let's say they can do up to 2 clients, right? Which represents in build and release world. Let's say if you're charging 9K for each, this is 18K worth of revenue, right? So that means that if you place 5 editors per month in companies, you can handle 5 times 18K, which is what? $90,000. And Jirov said, what? He takes what? 1 creative director to oversee 5 editors. This is what I mean by it's efficient AF. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You find 5 editors, and this is literally, this is your business. Like, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at your offer recently. I don't know. I didn't know you were going heavy on content, but like, I personally could figure out a way to start a content infrastructure release where, let's say, I could even get Jirov in-house, or tell Jirov, hey, can you get me an editor or creative director? And this creative director works 40 hours a week, right? And then they spend 5 hours per editor managing them, reviewing their work, right? And then to find 5 editors, it shouldn't be a lot of work, in my opinion. The only thing that you will need is just create a productized education and SOPs. Like, documentation is what will make this model scalable, right? And then you're just going to need a way to get one editor to work on, let's say, 2 clients at a time. Or you could just maybe do less scalable and just maybe collect half of this, 45 grand, by just placing one editor per client. But you could potentially get more efficiency if you just used one editor for 2 clients. And then just charge 9 grand. It could be 9 grand over 2 months. It could be 9 grand upfront. You decide, right? But this is what I mean by this. Content infrastructures could potentially be super, super sick, because all you really need is something like a good ClickUp base like this one. I mean, this is not good. This is not as thorough, but just have something pre-created where you kind of like have content going live. You have things, and then you have a good workflow of how editors are going to check. You see how they're going to update their content. You see all that good stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about the 9K, that's a down, that's the release, right? And I'm talking about I was talking about the management side of it, but it follows the same structure essentially. I don't see anything changes, right?
Exactly. Nothing changes. So
Yeah.
maybe this is like 9K over 90 days of support. So it's 1 month build and release, and then 2 months of like creative director management. Like, the creative director, you don't place creative directors in the company because you will not find them. They're like the hardest skill to find in today's day and age. Like, I'm trying to find someone who's really good. They can't be found. So this is going to be the hardest role to scale, in my opinion. Jirov, do you approve?
Yeah, creative directors are not easy to
Yeah.
find. You have to like train them up.
After 90 days, you can be like, hey, 2K a month. We'll keep doing this work. Well, we will review the content this week. Every month, we'll give you a new content schedule, the most hype content going live. Actually, this is a fucking great offer. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Because this is super fucking scalable. What? Yo, all you really need to do is spend your days on YouTube, spend your days on TikTok, spend your days on shorts. Hormozy does something that goes viral. This guy does something that goes viral. AI agencies go crazy. You're like, hey, every client, please create this piece of content. And every month, every week, you're essentially building a good content list of everything that's going viral. You've already placed the editors in-house. So now the editors just edit and release, right? And your creative director is just there to review all the content for the quality content, make sure that things get released for all the build and release. Let's say you have 5 build and release clients every month. You have 4 weeks to find them 5 editors. 5 editors per month, I think, is the easiest thing to figure out how to find. It's not like a crazy high value skill where it's like it's super hard to acquire. You can literally train someone to be editors. Everybody's training people to become editors. I think there's a trend of like, hey, become an editor, just like there is a trend to become a closer or becoming a setter, because these are skills of the new world. Right?
Here's the thing, like, maybe you guys should educate me. What's so complicated about being a creative editor? Like, why is it so hard?
A creative director?
Director, my fault, yeah.
Because it's a skill where you actually need to understand the platform. Like, you need to understand the algorithm. So as an example, for me, I have 11,000 subs. There are people on YouTube who've blown up to 500,000 views on a video. Like, that's not a level of, oh, it's just good content. It's the content that the platform will distribute disproportionately compared to someone who's just pushing regular content, right?
Yeah, no, I got you. So
Yeah.
basically, if I were to go just quickly though, if I were to go on Fiverr, Upwork, look those guys, maybe they are not right real, maybe they're fake, but they're saying,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna optimize your content and all that, or
Mhm.
SEO optimization, YouTube SEO optimization. That's theoretically what we're talking about, except we have to
Correct.
find the right one.
Correct. So you need someone who's like super dialed when it comes to these platforms, shorts and long form. I would say you need someone who understands shorts and you need someone who understands long form, but they all follow the same structure. As an example, the guy who's working for Hormozy, his lead chief of content, that's not a 5K a month type of scale. Like you're not paying him 5K. He's probably getting paid six figures, if not multiple six figures. Not because, yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's super. Yeah, no, Caleb is a super, like, I mean, he's literally part of the consulting team of the people from McKinsey. So acquisition.com is just made up of consultants from McKinsey, but like the next roles is sales manager, sales director, and content. Like those are the roles that they're really pushing. So like that guy, he's technical creative director. Like it's not like Hormozy dictates like, okay, what should I do? Now Hormozy does come up with some level of the topics, but like the way they position it, the way they edit it, is someone who actually takes the lead on that. And that's a lot of time.
Appreciate your education. Thank you very much. I thought it was like a slam dunk, man.
Yeah, no, but it's super. Yeah, I mean, like, I promise you, this is something like if I could find someone who can like take the lead on like the content side of things, I would be willing to pay a chief production officer more money than a CMO. That's how crazy this fucking thing is,
No, I get it. That makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
Because it's compounding. It's like okay, I can get a media buyer, someone who understands appointment setting and this and that, but it's like Iman Gadzi is at 3 million subs. No amount of fucking media buying is worth that. It's like okay, let's get someone who spends $5 million a month. Okay, cool. We make 10 million of that 5 mil ad spend, but let's build a $3 million audience, a 3 million people audience. That's insane amount of value. That's actually infinitely more valuable than a media buying skill, because one
Yeah.
person built you a home where you can make money forever, and one person is just selling you rent. That's the best analogy. Do you
I
want
think
to
I
own?
find. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, do you want someone to build you a house that you get paid on and that you rent? Or do you want someone who to give you a temporary penthouse where you fucking spend ridiculous shit ton of money and you have to think about rent every month? You know, like it's 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 really this insight. And I think, guys, if you're in the content space, if you're thinking of pushing this content, and I would even suggest any business that you guys niches are you guys going in to really sell this idea of content, because I'm seeing so much trend, guys. Like yesterday I was on a call in NBL, and one of the coaches in one community that has 20,000 Discord members is from a guy whose name is Leon on YouTube. He's talking about AI automation agencies, and this guy just built a 20,000 group on Discord, charging them like $97 a month. That's 200 grand a month in MRR, off of the only skill, which is I make good YouTube videos, I attract a bunch of beginners, and I charge him $97 a month. Do you know how hard we have to fucking sell to make multiple six figures a month? Do you know how many people have to run around trying to set everybody, blah, 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 blah? So that's what I mean by leverage. You can do one thing. You can try to go crazy acquisition experts, but I'm thinking that, oh my God, there is a new game in town. There's a new level of leverage in town, which is, can you go viral on content? I'm sure you guys are seeing Nick Cosman with the Satan, the stuff, the travel hoe. A lot of people are seeing him and they're like, oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? Everybody's talking about him now. But what he's really trying to figure out is, could I go viral saying some dumb shit? He's getting impressions for free. Everybody's talking about him on TikTok, on Twitter, everywhere. So essentially, he's doing what he's supposed to do. Now, This is a guy who knows how to spend money on ads and make 20 mil and run the whole fucking show. And now he's trying to become a TikToker and say some dumb shit on Instagram. Why? Because that's more leveraged than any type of fucking media buying that could be done. Does it make sense? So I want you guys to observe this game. The game is changing. The game in the industry, the playground is becoming a little different. But most people will catch on to this when it's too late. And then there will be a bunch of content agencies who are just selling some shorts for like $2. Like, come on.